Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and this is a story that I've wanted to do since I started posting regularly on my personal channel. Now, before I get into this story, I want to make it abundantly clear, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional, I am not a scientist. I am not giving you firsthand information or suggesting what you should do with your body. I am simply reporting on a very, very extraordinary story that I feel has been completely downplayed in the mainstream media and suppressed. So what is this story? Well, it's the story of a man named Joe Tippens. Now, we're going to play the clip. We're going to allow you to decide for yourself what you think. But Joe Tippens' story starts in 18, late 2018, when he is a shell of a human being. When he's on his last legs and he thinks it's all over and he's not going to be able to see his grandchild be born, something happens. And what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about the Joe Tippens story, but we're also going to talk about some of the medical papers out there, such as this one from 2008 from the American Association for Laboratory Animal Science that suggests that Fenbendazole, which is a dewormer, has cancer-fighting properties. Now, we're not talking about miracle cures here. I know that's banned on YouTube. So I want everybody to take a look at the document behind me, realize it's a real thing, it's been out since 2008, and that it's not the only one. And that even Johns Hopkins University and a university in San Francisco is looking at Fenbendazole for these type of solutions. This isn't Jason Burmis, okay? I want to get that out of the way. So without further ado, and before we go into that study, which is one on mice, by the way, okay, we are going to get straight into it with Mr. Tippens himself. So, with that being said, let's play some of this.
My liver, my pancreas, my bladder, in my bones, it was everywhere.
2 years ago, Joe Tippens says he was told to go home, call hospice, and say his goodbyes. The doctors were unanimous. He was going to die of small cell lung cancer.
Once that kind of cancer goes that far afield, the odds of survival are less than 1%, and the median life expectancy is 3 months.
3 months. And, you know, they were showing you some of his x-rays out there. I have yet to see anybody prove that this man is a charlatan, and you can go check out his own website. We're going to go back to that in a minute, called mycancerstory.rocks. And I'm going to try to get Mr. Tippens on the show. Whether or not I'm going to be able to, who knows. There's not an email. There's just a request form at the end. But here he is, a man that's been given a death sentence and is told, listen, man, it's over. Game over, dude. I'm sorry. And then this happens.
Tippens says he went from 220 pounds to 110, but that was January of 2017. Today, Tippens is very much alive, and what he credits for his survival has doctors scratching their heads and the rest of us raising eyebrows.
About half the people think I'm just crazy, and half the people want to know more and dig deeper.
Tippens says he got a tip, not from a pharmacist, but a veterinarian. And in his desperation, he turned from people medicine to dog medicine.
And you notice they won't even show you the brand there? I think that's wild. You know, this is an ABC local piece, but the fact that this isn't a national piece is very upsetting. And the fact that really to find this piece, you had to go to international media. This is The Sun. It was on the Daily Mail. But I didn't see it too much on MSNBC or Fox News or CNN. Really weird when this medication costs about $5 a week. Just odd that, you know, you wouldn't want people to know about this or take a chance.
Specifically, Fenbendazole, or what you give a dog when it has worms.
Truth is stranger than fiction, you know.
Just 3 months later, Tippens says his cancer was gone.
3 months.
I'm usually skeptical, and I was and maybe still am about this one.
So right here, we're talking about the president of Oklahoma Medical Research Foundation. And yes, they're also doing studies. Now, before we continue here, I want to show you that this is not just Jason Burmis. This isn't just Joe Tippens. And again, we showed you the 2008 study on mice. Basically, when fenbendazole was given on its own, it didn't have an effect on these mice and tumor growth. See, they were trying to grow tumors in these mice, but some of them wouldn't grow. And they figured out that with a combination of vitamin E and fenbendazole, none of them got cancer or tumors. And let's go to that in the document because I want to show that to you. Let's hit that. I believe it's if I type in combination. Yes. Therefore, the controlled study was conducted to test whether fenbendazole, supplemented vitamins, or both in combination affected the growth of human lymphoma cell line in SCID mice. Okay? That's condition. Okay. We hypothesized that the combination of fenbendazole and the supplement vitamin antioxidants may have exerted a threshold effect, resulting in the reduction of HIF and inhibition of tumor egenesis. Indeed, preliminary information from the laboratory confirms that fenbendazole inhibits HIF transcriptional activity in cell culture in an additive manner with other HIF inhibitors. Okay? So with me, when you look at this stuff, let's be real. Okay, there it is. There's the study. You can check this out. Yes, significantly inhibited tumor growth. Has implications for its use during anti-tumor studies because it may cause unpredictable interactions with test substances and thus alter search results. Now, this is back in 2008. Okay, and we're going to go back to that clip where Joe Tippens talks about his cancer leaving, and this man doing trials now, studying this in other humans. But I do want people to check this out. John Hopkins Medicine, 2014. Excuse me. 2014. They're talking about it here. Okay? And the thing is that, they've looked at this. They can't believe it. At best, the drug will slow tumor growth, says Riggins. He and his team are looking to pair it with other drugs. They expect that their formulation of mebendazole will also work in pediatric cases. Now, that's another type of parasite fighter used for humans. But from what I've read, it is not as effective as the other drug, fenbendazole. And when you look at this, this is the University of UC San Francisco. And when they found this same thing, they meant this part at the end is just tremendous to me. Think about it. Because our method is literally virtual, we can evaluate hundreds of drug candidates very quickly, Chen said. We looked at more than 1,000 drugs before discovering that the deworming pills were effective. This is a very effective way to do drug discovery. Now, on top of the vitamin E and the Panicur C, aka fenbendazole, he was also giving himself Curachem and CBD oil. Okay, so that's absolutely, I want to put that in there because I don't think it is actually shown in the video that we're going to go back to. But NPR back in 2017 talking about this, okay? And this one right here, cancertreatmentsresearch.com, gives a great breakdown of just all the studies I went over and the Tippens case. So let's continue here with this unbelievable case.
But there's an interesting background to this.
Cancer researchers like Stephen Prescott are skeptical, but they also are not dismissing this anti-parasitic's potential. He says Tippens is not the first person to potentially benefit, and maybe not the last.
Scientists at many credible places have done work on this for years.
But was it the dog dewormer, or was it something else?
So let me stop you here. We just showed you some of the studies. This is where you find out that Tippens was also part of another drug study, that was being tested out. Here's the thing. Nobody in that study had any kind of positive results. Let me repeat that. Nobody in this study had any type of positive results, including Tippens. So to me, I don't know how you could even argue it was this other treatment, but hey, we'll allow it, because we want to be full disclosure here and not hiding anything.
Tippens took the dog medicine with daily vitamin E supplements and CBD oil. He was also taking an experimental cancer-fighting drug. But Tippens says out of the 1,100 patients on that clinical trial, he was the only one cleared of cancer. Tippens says
So once again, more than 1,000 people on this other experimental drug and nobody else. So we're not talking about 1%. Okay, one would be 1 in 100. We're talking about less than 0.1% if he was the only person to become cancer-free. So that's, to me, off the table. That's Johnny nonsense. That's skewing the issue, but again, we're honest here.
he was saved by the dog dewormer, and he plans to take it for the rest of his life.
Oh, my insurance company spent $1.2 million on me with traditional means before I switched to a $5 a week medicine that actually saved me.
Prescott says he's now working with Tippens to organize a case study.
We're going to do it and see if we can confirm that in a very rigorous or a clinical study sort of way that these patients had that kind of response.
Now let's just stop that for a second. $1.2 million on one person. You can't tell me that this isn't the medical industrial complex, that this isn't big pharma, that this isn't a political game. A political game of eugenics for the populace. When you have a $5 a week medication that could save lives. Think about how many people, if that's true, and in a 3-month period that Tippens was cleared of cancer, how many people that could help that $1.2 million that lovely insurance company spent on treatment? Huh? How many people you think we could have cured of that cancer if this is real? And again, we're not talking about magic or miracle cures. We're showing you the documentation and the studies. I'm encouraging you to read this one from 2008, the American Association of Laboratory Animal Sciences. Okay, we're going to go finish this clip up, but again, I'm encouraging you to please not only check out Tippens' blog, but to check out the Johns Hopkins Medicine article from 2014, to take a look at the University of San Francisco and their studies on the deworming pill. And, again, NPR and other big sites talking about this as a reality. And yet, this video right here, unless you guys really get it out there, will get no more than 5,000 to 10,000 hits. Okay? No more than that. And if we had an honest media that wasn't beholden to big pharma and what I like to call the death industry, that's right, the death industry, maybe we would see this on mainstream news. Maybe this would be publicized.
As for Tippens,
I've got now over 40 success stories other than me.
he's sharing his story on an online blog that has already been read more than 100,000 times.
And by the way, from what I've heard, there's now been over 1 million people that have viewed that website. That could be a little hearsay. I've seen that reported on other alternative outlets, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Most of the feedback, positive or curious. Some, though, accuse Tippens of giving cancer patients false hope.
How do I answer that? I mean, if I've saved one other person other than me, it's worth it
Damn
to
straight.
me.
All we know for sure is that Joe Tippens is alive. In time, perhaps we'll also know if this medicine made for man's best friend might also be man's newest cancer cure.
So it would probably be our only official cancer cure if it went public. And I know there's a lot of stuff out there. You know what I mean? I'm very well aware of, the THC oil. I forget what his name is up in Canada, but it was named after him. I've seen that documentary as well. When I brought this up back in April, when it started to make the rounds, and I found this to one of the girls I used to bartend with. She's a nurse. There's a nursing program here at Hartwick University. And she looked at me and she goes, there is some talk in the medical community that cancer is really a type of fungus. And that would make sense that a dewormer might be able to be activated and take it out if that is the case. So, she got me thinking a lot and looking into this, and it's one of the reasons I followed up on this story, because I haven't seen much about it. And I haven't seen people go in depth and show the medical papers that would, again, agree with what Tippens has said, that his cancer story rocks. It's mycancerstory.rocks. And that, this drug is what helped save his life. So please go check that out. And guys, if you like this type of information, if you're new to the channel, now's the time to subscribe to the Burmis Brigade. We are doing 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 videos a day on all sorts of subject matter that I believe to be extremely important. We are at the forefront of the Epstein case. We were at the forefront of the Nexium case and continue to be. Bilderberg, Bohemian Grove, transhumanism, child predators all around the country and the world being exposed on this channel. And earlier today, we even did a talk on the tragedy in El Paso. We also do deep dives here. We read the entire FBI document that labels you a terrorist for watching this channel. That's the truth, okay? And if you don't like it, please read it yourself or go check out the video where we go through it line by line. Guys, I'm only able to do this with your support. We're a little bit over halfway at 18 days and not quite halfway to the goal. So if there's somebody out there that can help and support me, this is how I'm doing it. This is how I'm doing it 7 days a week, 3 to 7 times a day on subjects that matter. With that being said, guys, I thank you all for watching, and I will see you on the flip side.